Alright. I thought I'd go ahead and share a little bit of what I've been doing this summer outside of working on the Sweet Hundred Festival, working with the Lions Club, cleaning up my house, which has been a mammoth project this off summer. But I've also had time to play a few games. Of course, I showed earlier I finished Oblivion Remastered, and I got the platinum for that game, and I'm working on the platinum for this game. I'll probably have it sooner or later. But this is a very retro game. I played the original way back in the late 80s, I would think. The 80s. This was the best one, in my opinion, that was on the NES. It was the most fun to play. And now they've remade it, and you can play, and it'll be a lot faster, a lot more fun than the one that I even played back then. I was pleasantly surprised at how good this game was and how faithfully it recreated all the fun that I had when I was a kid. So I heavily recommend, if you want to play a game and have most of the fun of the game that I played way back when, this is the game. It's got music. It's got all the original kind of workings made by the same company, Enix. Square bought Enix out and became Square Enix. And this is one of the more fun games that's out there. Okay. And as you play the game, right away, some of the front pages will change and stuff like that. So let's take a look at where I'm at here. I've gotten a lot of time into the game, as you can see. Okay, so here I am at the original Castle of Alanion. Okay, you can go in here, and when you get your hero started, you can go into this facility here.
Hey,
talk to Patty.
I heard all about what went on in the castle. Oh, no need to look so surprised. I know about Zoma, too. In fact, I reckon it's high time I told you exactly how my party planning place came to be. You see, when the king heard of your father's passing, he couldn't let go of the fact that it was him who sent Ortega off with no help. That drove His Majesty to create a spot where adventurers could meet, exchange ideas, and form parties.
And that's what she does, is she helps you form parties.
Anyway, this is what got built. I did my part too. Called in some favors and got the first few adventurers through the door. Then the king used his coffers to summon some more. As time passed, this place grew into the bustling hub you know today. Gotta say, when you came in here on your birthday, I got a bit emotional. Honestly, if the party planning place has helped you out even a little bit, then I'd be happier than a slime on Sunday. Oh, and don't worry. No one here's timid enough to get scared off by someone who calls himself Lord of anything. I can promise you that. Patty's party planning place is still here for you just like it's always been. And that's never going to change.
Alright, so basically what you can do here is you can recruit and drop off characters and such. As you can see, I've gotten quite a few different characters here, and they're already up in the levels 40s and 50s. And you can recruit more allies. Okay, you can decide to drop them off. This is a little different from the old days when you just had characters already given to you. They changed that in this set of games where your party is already planned out for you. They're coming out with a Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake that you probably won't be able to choose characters. That's what's nice about this. You can choose your characters. Okay, so for instance, I have a hero, I have a sage, I have a monster wrangler, and I have another sage. And by the way, not only can you recruit a few characters here, you can make them up. Go up here. This is what's really fun about it. Okay, you can make a new one. So I'm going to just make another one. Let's see, we'll just say back a bit. Well, we'll just call it Gam. Okay. And then you can choose any one of these here. You can't choose Sage at the beginning. You have to get Words of Wisdom or make somebody a Gadabout, which you can do, of course. There's a Gadabout. And eventually, once you get to Gadabout about level 20, that person can become a Sage automatically. But I always recommend you have start out with one person who's a priest, okay, because you need healing, and you start out with somebody who's a monster wrangler. Why do I say that those two are very important at the start? Because a priest gives you healing, and every once in a while you need to be able to heal. You get in a fight. And then monster wranglers, you can go around the country and get monsters. And the more monsters you get, the stronger monster wrangler gets. And they have lots of different skills. Ones were called Monster Pile Up, where they can use all the monsters that they've saved to fight. And the other one is called Wild Side. It lets you hit twice in a turn, and that's very useful. Especially if you're going to go, say, do a Monster Wrangler and then change it later to something else. Now, that means you'll be able to fight twice with that character. Now, the hero you can't change, but the other three characters you take with you, you can change. So I heavily recommend a priest and a monster wrangler. You could also go with any one of these other ones, even the Gadabout, but that'd be tough to do with a starting character. I would recommend more something like either a merchant or a mage, not bad to start with. Maybe a thief, and the reason I say that is because you can it helps you to find more and more items that might be hidden. You can find hidden items by saying with some of the nose for treasure. And then there's also other things that a thief does, and it makes a thief another useful item or character because you can steal things. So that's not a bad character to start out with either. It'd be a tough call between that and the mage, because the mage does provide you some firepower, but I would recommend those. Martial artist, I hear that this is probably better for end of game than the beginning of the game, in my opinion, but it does give you the ability to have a very strong character without needing a lot of items. That being said, I think the martial artist is actually a stronger end game character than beginning character. Merchant has the ability to like sleep on the run. That's an interesting thing to have, and I did not use that myself, but it might have been interesting to do if I'd had that character, but that's not a bad idea either. One thing to remember is that at one point in the game, you're going to need to get a merchant to have a city. So that's what I did, is I just picked and made a character that was a merchant, trained it a little bit, went to a city where they want a merchant, and left it there. So at some point in the game, you're going to have to give the merchant up. Make one of these up, and then take it to that city when you find it, and it will take over that city. And eventually you can get that person back, but most of the game you will not be able to use that merchant. So if you want to keep a merchant in your party, start off with it and don't give it up to that person. You just make up another one and zoom right over there and give them to them. So. But again, this is a really good game. There's all kinds of things you can do. You can try all kinds of things. You don't have to, do your first playthrough and do everything. You can choose to try things out. You can switch characters in the middle of the game as long as you're training them. You do have to grind a little bit here and there. but I find it fun. And then you're going to go around and do a lot of things when you're out. So I'm going to leave here. Go outside. I am near endgame. I'm about to beat the final boss. And at some point during the game, you're going to get a ship, which is I've got over here. And at another point, you're going to get a bird that you can go around and just take a look. You can fly around. Okay. Fly around to different areas. It's kind of cool. You get that later in the game. Okay. And of course, like I said, you can ride the ship at some point in the game. Okay. It's kind of cool. Of course, if you ride around, you're going to get into fights. I have on what's called a duplicate hat. You only get one of these in the game. It allows the one character that's, that you choose to cast a spell, and then it duplicates it. In my case, I've got the character down there named Romeo, and that person, it has the duplicate hat. It lets it hit twice. The two in the middle have a lot of monster wrangler capabilities, allowing them to hit twice. So there's so much you can get these characters to do to strengthen them. It's fun to play around with different setups. I heavily recommend this game. There's so much you can do with it, and it gives you a feel for what the old games were like without having to sit around and take forever to do everything. There's a lot more fun to be had with it. So that's this game in a nutshell, Dragon Quest III Remake. I recommend it and the upcoming Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake. Have a good day.